$6 I spent for this pair of clippers at an estate sale. It's a throwback pair of Wahl clippers. They're called the wahlhomepro. And I've already used these clippers a few times. Fantastic deal for $6. Today I'm going to attempt to repair my son's, well, he's been cutting his own hair, so I'm going to give him a get out of jail free card today and give him a fresh start with a bald fade. So with the bald fade or skin fade, it is often referred to, or I won't say often, it's that's how it is offered at the shop I work at now. They call it a skin fade. We always called it a bald fade when I first were introduced to this particular haircut. So here you see I'm putting in the typical first step. Some people will put it in with a liner, sometime a zero gapped wahlsenior or Andy's master, you know, a big clipper rather than the trimmer. But here I'm putting it in with the outliner 2 by Andy's, and I can usually get this first step pretty clean with the Andy's outliner 2. Some people go a step further and use a foil shaver. Some barbers who can use a razor might even use a straight razor. So you see the familiar pattern that goes in terms of the step 1 that went under the occipital bone in the back. What a lot of people will do is, especially when I watch videos of other people doing a bald fade, like for instance that step 2, in the temporal area, it might be, let's say, 1.5 inches in width. You notice that I open up that step in the back, which a lot of the demonstrations I've seen on bald fades, people tend to hug close to the occipital bone and follow that original rule or that original guide that they put in with step 1. As you can see, I open up that step 2 in the occipital bone region. This basically gives you way more real estate to negotiate your blend. Why congest yourself and force yourself to do a blend, especially when you're doing this in a commercial setting like in a barber shop where you got to get these people in and out. Easier is better, you know. Simplicity is better, you know. Anything that shaves off time and makes it more efficient, I won't say it's better, but it's more pragmatic and practical, right? So as you see in the back area, I have a large step 2 to work with to negotiate that blend. And most people who have tried this haircut will probably agree with me in that on the side, in the temporal area towards the face, that area tends to blend out a little easier than in the back of the head. So that is the genius, if you will. I you know, don't want to toot my own horn, but that is the pragmatism of the approach that I use in achieving a bald fade in this particular haircut. So here I basically have the clipper open all the way up, and I'm almost able to do this haircut with I'm not sure if I actually, yeah, I will use a guide on the top, but a lot of the blending is without guards or guides, just basically calibrating the angle of the clippers to either cut more or less hair in attempting to blend out that second, or that rather that third step here. The clipper is a vintage wahlhomepro, and I was rather impressed with this clipper. I mean, it has the nice crunch sound, nice clipper acoustics while you're cutting, basically hearing everything you cut. That's uh, pretty advantageous when it comes to detail work. You got some audible feedback to kind of tell you how much you're cutting or not cutting, and yeah, I think that's valuable in this type of hair cutting. I mean, if you're in a loud shop blasting music, you probably wouldn't know the difference, but you know, I'm at home and doing some highly detailed work in terms of I mean, well, as is required when you're doing a bald fade like this. So notice how I'm able to, like, I'm just have ample room in that occipital area to negotiate that uh, skin line or that bald fade line out. And that's useful because a lot of times when you turn guys around, a lot of the bald fades I'm seeing on the internet and YouTube and Instagram, they always take the shot from the side. They always take the picture from the side, because if you turn the guy around to the back and get a view of the haircut from the nape and the occipital bone area, the blend doesn't look as flattering because they tend to follow that guide around too close and don't leave themselves enough room to negotiate a seamless transition, which is the beauty of a fade, period, which is the beauty of fading and tapering, is to be as subtle and seamless as possible in terms of your transitions. So if your transitions, if someone can track your modality and your approach, and say, okay, I know where he put step one, I know where he put step two. I mean, I guess it's a matter of taste and style, but yeah, the original and traditional idea and notion is that you're creating these blends that are so seamless and so masterfully executed that it's really difficult to say where certain steps started or began. It just seems to have this natural fading flow. So I think that's a little bit easier to accomplish if you give yourself some more real estate in the back to negotiate your blend, particularly with that step two. Otherwise, you know, no matter how skillful or how much effort you put into that blend, when you look at the haircut from the back, there still seems to be this ring, this, you know, very distinct pattern and steps and guides that are quite apparent. It's just a matter of taste, but, and not saying that I wouldn't do that. For some customers, that's how they want. They almost request that you pattern the fade that way. So remember, this is a repair haircut, and my son had been lining his hair in the front. That little area had grown back enough that I'm somewhat able to basically blend it into the haircut, and you don't even notice where he had kind of taken his hairline back too far. sharpening up the hairline with the straight razor. Here we had adding some fiber enhancements. Using a little astringent to clean away some of that fiber that got on my son's face. This final product. We actually did a little bit more blend work after the camera was off. But, yeah, particularly in the back. Well, I hope you enjoyed this production of Tonsorial Virtuoso, the bald fade, or skin fade as it is termed sometimes. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.